What a wonderful chapter. Just so emotionally thought-provoking and wonderful, and I'm just so thankful that I get to share my experience with all of you. One Piece Chapter 438, Pride. Man, if I had to sum up this chapter in just one word, it would be touching. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters and fellow stubborn Usoppers of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the heartwarming, the touching, the life lesson learning tale of One Piece. Our last chapter saw us with, really after some very comical and comedic moments. It also was a very touching chapter in the sense that, Frankie came full circle and came to the realization that much of what he had been doing since Tom had died was really just trying to do what he thinks what Tom would have wanted, and to follow in his footsteps from taking care of the city and everything else. And really what it was him feeling indebted to, and that it was necessary, the obligation. He felt that obligation. And ultimately at the end of the chapter wound up deciding to join the Straw Hats. And then we also got news that Admiral Garp, Vice Admiral Garp, and his ship was coming back around the island and coming straight for them. So they're all getting ready to set sail. So that's how the chapter left off. And that's right where the chapter picks up. We actually wind up seeing within the first couple of pages, we see, because everybody's like, what the hell? I thought your grandpa wasn't going to attack. And Luffy's like, I don't know. So then they go and they actually show Garp's ship. And it's funny because Aokiji is sitting there chilling, just relaxing with his little eye shades or whatever that he has over so he can sleep. And they're like, Vice Admiral, this and that, and basically the bottom line is that he didn't want to go back. It's that he was told to go back by the Fleet Admiral, Sengoku, right? And because they're like, well, see, Sengoku think he is, telling us we should turn back and this and that. And it's so funny because it's like, who does he think he is? This is all a very military-like ranking system type deal, okay? You know who he is? He's somebody above you. But it's funny to hear this guy say this because he's just like, fuck him, And then Aokiji's just sitting there and they're like, sir, maybe you shouldn't be aboard and this and that. And he's like, nah, it's too much trouble to ride my bike back. Don't worry about it. I won't do anything. He's just like the ultimate, lazy admiral, So anyway, they have to wind up, and it was funny, and then somebody's like, well, maybe you shouldn't have said, I won't do that because he's my grandson over the, over the transponder snail. And he's like, oh yeah, whatever. So anyway, so they're coming around, and they're coming for blood. They got to come after Luffy and company, right? So Luffy and the guys are on board the ship, and then they wind up going and having this flashback about how they had a talk about Usopp, and Sanji talked about how he came upon him, and saw that Usopp was, practicing for what he was going to say to rejoin the crew that he wants to, right? And Luffy's like, hell yeah, have him rejoin the crew, cool, right? And what I liked about this is there was a great moment that you got from Zoro, and then Sanji wound up eventually backing it up and corroborating what he said, and Zoro said, the only way he can come back is if the first thing he says, or whatever it is that he winds up coming at us with, is an apology. Listen, it doesn't matter who was right or wrong, but two men decided to go and have words and then have a duel, and he lost that duel, okay? So therefore, he does need to come to an apology. And I love this too. He goes and he kind of bats Luffy in the head, and he's like, even though our captain is kind of an idiot, he's our idiot. He's still our captain. You still have to have the rank and file and chain of command. Otherwise, if we can't trust one of us, all of us could fall apart. We can't have one guy that's going off and doing whatever he feels like at the drop of a pin. We can't have somebody who's stubborn and doesn't want to listen to orders or follow through with the command, whether you like it or not. This is how it works, and I love how he tells Luffy, he says, you better be serious about this one, because if you're not, I'll be the next one to leave the crew. And I thought that was good. I thought that was really powerful, and what I liked about it is that, he's right. Back 100+ chapters ago when this happened, I initially kind of sided with Usopp because I felt like Luffy was just being real stubborn about it, and that he wasn't being very, he wasn't really gently breaking anything to him. Luffy had already kind of gotten over it, right? Luffy was initially upset about the Mary having to be put to rest, but then once he kind of met up with Usopp later on, it was kind of like a, hey, oh, by the way, I made this decision. It is what it is, too bad. And I think that wound up causing some issues, you know what I mean? For me anyway, I felt as if Luffy, and then two, I didn't see the battle until recently between them in the anime, which completely portrays it in a different light, in a different way. When Luffy walked away from him in the manga, I thought that he was kind of poking fun at him, like, you piece of shit, you could never beat me. And in reality, at least in the manga, or in the anime, which a lot of people told me, when I did view it, it was a whole different perspective. It was very much a Luffy was like crying. This was something that was breaking him up. It was tearing him apart, you know, to lose one of his crew members over something like this. So anyway, regardless of that and what happened and everything like that, I just thought that it was great because it makes so much sense what Zoro says, you know. He's like, we're not playing at being pirates. We are pirates, you know. Luffy's going to be the king of the pirates. We got the world government coming after us and everything. We got a target on our back. Last thing we need is a loose cannon going off AWOL doing what the fuck he wants to do, right? So I like that. So that was, and I know I spent a little time on this one, even though it was only a couple pages, but that's what it was. Then, what I thought was kind of cool, man, just all these bombs getting like a fucking bombing run. Just coming in here, this whole volume. And this volume, too, honestly, you see the cover of it, and you see Luffy, and he's got his little sweatband on, you know, and he's looking like a sweating into the oldies type of infomercial video. And I didn't think much of it. Yeah, you know, I saw Ace in the background, you see Blackbeard, and you see Shanks, and you see Whitebeard. But what you really see is Luffy at the first. When I saw this, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Just kind of the usual wrap-up, few chapters, get into the next one. There has been some bombs, boy, getting dropped. So the next one is Vice Admiral Garp's ship comes around, and he's like, hey, Luffy, sorry I gotta attack you anyway, you know, but don't worry, I promise I'm gonna take you out single-handed, right? And we see, because remember, Luffy's rubber, he can't be hurt by normal means, but he did get woken up and did take a beating and a hit from the fist of Vice Admiral Garp. Now, he explained it as that it was a fist of love, but imagine how strong Garp has to be to actually hurt this man of rubber with his fist, you know? So I was thinking about this last few days, last few chapters, since I read that one. This dude goes in, whatever his deal is, whether he's just incredibly strong, whether he's got a devil fruit power, I don't know, man. Whether he just went and trained and did some P90X up the ass, I have no idea. Dude goes and picks up a cannonball, right? And just fucking throws it right at them. What the fuck? Thing blows up near and everything. And they're like, whoa, this dude just threw this thing. And that's faster. And Zoro's like, it's faster than any cannonball I've ever seen, right? And Garp's like, oh, it sucks getting old. I used to be able to throw them twice as fast. Give me 1,000 cannonballs. And he's going to do this meteor fist barrage, right? And I'm like, oh, fuck. And I mean, even Kobe's like, come on, man. We just said our goodbyes. Everything was pleasant and good. Now we got to go back and attack them, you know? But it is what it is. That's what they got to do. So they have to go and cast off the ship while the ship is casting off. And they're like, hey, where's Usopp? And Luffy's like, listen, man. I waited for him, okay? We did. We waited for him. I made sure that there was somebody at the, you know, Water 7 Galilea Company headquarters place that they had us at. He never showed up. Simple as that. I'm sure he'll be great on his own. I'm sure he'll be maybe we'll run into him on the sea sometime. And although you can tell Luffy wants to have him in the crew, he went and it did sink in what Zoro said to him that, listen, he has to come back of his own free will and he has to apologize for what happened. Regardless of who was right or wrong about the fight, he has to apologize for the actions which led to that afterwards, you know, during and after. So, simple as that. So they're casting off, and I'm like, oh, man, poor Usopp. Then we go and we see a flash of Usopp, and Usopp's getting ready, and we're getting ready to go, and he's going over these 100 different lines that he's gotten. And then I'll ask him, and I'll tell him, they'll beg me to come back, and I'll say, I know you missed me, and I want to be the first mate, and all this bullshit that he's got going on, right? Anyways, so then Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro, along with Frankie. Frankie's helping out as well, and maybe even Robin. I didn't see her. But they're trying to go and dodge and do whatever they can to bounce back, get these cannonballs to not destroy their brand new ship, right, as this thing's casting off. So they're casting off in full speed ahead, trying to get away from Garp's ship. And you got Zoro slashing cannonballs in half, Luffy bouncing them back. You know, you got Sanji, you know, kicking the damn things. You got Frankie nailing. All hell's breaking loose. Usopp finally comes down. He gets down by the broken steps over there, goes down to Scrap Island. Wait for me. Where are you guys going? Wait. And he starts going and spewing out his bullshit to everybody. Oh, and if it's okay if you want to take me back, I know you missed me, and I know this, and blah, blah. And it's so funny because he's going on and on for a couple minutes, you know, and it's painstaking to see. And Frankie's like, hey, you know, he's trying to talk to you. And Luffy and Zoro, as they're, you know, knocking things back, dodging cannonballs, breaking them, busting them, whatever. Like, no, I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything. And at first I was like, what, they can't hear it over the clatter of the cannonballs and everything else? No, it's because he wasn't saying what they wanted to hear. All they wanted to hear was him go and basically just suck it up and apologize for what happened, right? Simple as that. So this agonizing thing goes on for 2 or 3 pages, you know, and you see Usopp and him, he's just defeated, right? And he's down by the edge of the water, and he just falls to his knees, man. And he's just like, wait, before you go, and this is a part that really choked me up, man. Really choked me up. Before you go, so, you know, he's got something to say, right? And it's going through all these different flashbacks, and he just kind of goes and sucks it in, muscles up, and he's just like, I'm sorry! And I just love it how just the double page spread and how it looks and how, man, Oda has such a great way of communicating these emotions on a flat black and white surface, man. He's, I'm sorry for being so stubborn, I'm sorry. And they're like, Usopp, you know, everybody, I know I'm being pathetic, I know I said I already quit. Can I take that back? Please, let me take it back, please, you know. Please forgive me. I want to be with you guys one more time. Please let me join. And now at this point, he's just a blubbering mess. I'm reading this. I'm crying, right? Oh my God, man! When we get to this too in the anime, man, I'm gonna put out a box of tissues, man, for everybody, for everybody in my family. My God! And then I love this, you know. And then Luffy's crying his eyes out. You idiot! Hurry up and grab on! It's great, you know. You get Zoro. You're the idiot. And then Nami's crying her eyes out. She's like, haha, you guys all look so dumb. And I love this. So now we're finally all together, right? And that's what this is about. This is like it's like a family story, a friendship, or whatever, man. It's anybody who ever watched movies growing up like Goonies or Stand By Me. Those are timeless tales. And the reason they're so good, even though they're 30 years old or 20 years old or whatever, is because it's all about showing the camaraderie and just that family-type bond, even amongst those that aren't blood-related, you know? Even amongst those that aren't blood-related, just having such good friends that you can feel like you're going to pick each other up when you're down. Oh, my God, just so good, you know? I don't even know what to tell you. Just an absolute, just masterfully woven, beautiful, beautiful chapter. Probably one of my favorite in the series. Maybe not for the information that came out from it and everything else. We see that Vice Admiral Garp is a badass and everything, but just for the emotion, man. Just the pure, it just grabbed onto my heart and just won't let go, man. I absolutely love and adore One Piece, man, and I can't thank you all enough for sharing in this experience with me, for watching the videos. You know, through up and down and thick and thin, I record these almost every day, and there's some days that, you know, I read a chapter and maybe I'm just having a bad day, and maybe the chapter doesn't resonate with me like it should, you know. But I record these because it's my first impression, my initial thoughts, you know, it's what I think, it's what I... And the journey has just been so amazing. Almost 300 episodes so far in with my family. I mean, my 2.5-year-old comes into my office here, and he goes and he says, oh, Nami. Oh, I like Nami. I like Nami. Where's Luffy? Where's Luffy? I like Asanji. I like Asanji. Zoro, he got sharp swords, you know, and just all this just really... And my 7-year-old will sit and talk to me about stuff and go... You know, tell him about his favorite character or the favorite moment that he liked. And my 13-year-old, who's going to be 14 next month, who I have trouble communicating with sometimes, he'll sit down and he'll talk with me about stuff, and we'll reference this particular part in the anime. And he goes and he says lines and stuff from it, you know. And he wrote a blog thing for his reading homework. He's in 8th grade, and they have to do this blog for reading. And the blog, one of the things that he was talking about was he's so grateful and thankful that his dad got him into anime, because now he watches Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Attack on Titan and Kame ga Kill and One Piece and Fairy Tail and just all these different things. And he, you know, he even says, he goes, and at first I thought it was just kind of stupid. I didn't know anything about it. But then I saw how much my dad enjoyed it, so I started watching things, and I really love it, you know. And there is just no, there's no greater feeling, man. There's no greater feeling than feeling that connection and that love between, you know, you and the people that you share that with, that you share those moments with. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for sharing those moments with me. And I hope you continue to do so, you know, and whether you just got here or you've been here for a while or you stop by every now and then to take a look at a chapter that you like, maybe that's a good one for you, it resonates with you, it doesn't matter, you know. I truly appreciate it all. I'm very thankful for all of it. So I'm going to end this one off over here. My chapter question for you, though, brothers and sisters, is on the emotional scale, the heart, tugging at your heartstrings type of chapters. Where does this one rank in your overall One Piece journey? You know, is it top 5? Is it number 1? I know personally for me, so far, it's probably one of the best, most emotionally gripping chapters that I've read. So, but I'd like to know what your thoughts are, brothers and sisters, in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We'll look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation. As always, thank you for watching and joining me on this journey.